Hello guys, welcome to TMX Adventures. Lisa here. Hey, today I'm going to start making the base for this awesome chocolate and cream cheese tart. We've got friends coming for dinner tonight, and this is what we're having for dessert. So I'm getting early this morning making the base. It is a gluten-free base I'm going to make with some homemade gluten-free flour. And I'm really looking forward to putting this together. But I do also have a really important thing I want to share with you about longevity of your Thermomix and how to make it last longer. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making. So come with me today. Let's get started on this recipe and then we'll talk about that. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube, the replay, you're going to see all parts of this put together today. Hit the subscribe button. Those of you who I'm coming live to on Facebook, you're just seeing the snippet this morning because there's resting parts in the fridge and there's other bits. So those of you on Facebook, you should come check out YouTube tonight where you'll see the whole lot put together. So let's get started, and remember, send this to your friends and family who have a Thermomix. They might like chocolate, or it might be that they need the tip coming shortly, okay? So really important thing. All right, it says to grease a loose bottom fluted tart tin and set aside. I can't find mine. There's somewhere here in my kitchen, so I'm going to use a quiche dish instead. And I'm not greasing mine. I'm going to rely on trusty baking paper because there's nothing worse than things sticking, right? So I'm going to do that. First things first, 60 grams of granulated sugar. You could use a monk fruit sweetener here. Those of you who are doing low carb, this certainly would work in this case. So that's an option. On with the lid. We're going to mill this down 5 second speed 10. If you had icing sugar in the cupboard left over from something, you could use that. Excuse that puppy dog's barking. My child's in the backyard eating strawberries and they don't think they know him. Anyway, real world here in my kitchen. So 150 grams of diced unsalted butter. Okay, if you've only got salted, use what you've got. So you can see that dust of icing sugar. There's no heat created, okay? Many of you, that was your first aha wow moment when you saw a Thermomix, was the fact that you can shop and buy one product. You can buy your raw sugar and change it to caster sugar in 3 seconds, icing sugar in 10 seconds. It's so easy, okay? On with the lid. 3 minutes, 50 degrees, speed 2, and it is going to melt this down. Now, when I get it going, there we go. This flour mix I'm using, okay? So in a second, I'm just going to turn it up a bit, dice it, hang on. Only for the ease of talking over the top of it, okay? I just wanted to be able to talk to you a bit easier. The flour mix we're using today. A couple of weeks ago, my 13-year-old made gluten-free dinner bread rolls. And in that recipe, you make your own gluten-free flour. Chia seeds, corn flour, rice, you mill that down, and it makes your own. And it's been sitting in the drawer for a few weeks now, and I today looked at my stash, and normally I have an abundant stash of gluten-free plain flour in a packet, and yes, we do make it at times, but I tend to fall back on just the ease of picking up that packet at the supermarket, and I don't have much left. So I went, rightio, let's pull this out and use this. So today, this is not a gluten-free recipe by normal standards. It's usually plain flour going into the Thermomix in the next step. But we're going to use gluten-free, and I've got some tips around that because there are sometimes little tweaks you have to make when you swap in gluten-free flour so that it's easier to work with, okay? So this is melting down beautifully, and there you can hear that texture change. You can hear it to 45 degrees of 50. So let's talk about one of the biggest no-nos, for no better of a word, I see people doing with their Thermomix, and it's actually got to do with your bowl. So, you know your Thermomix bowl, and this applies to TM31 owners, TM5, TM6 owners. It doesn't matter what model you have, this applies, and it's the biggest mistake I see. And it is when people get this out of the dishwasher, assemble it, and put it straight back in place. Now, you might be thinking, what's wrong with that, Lisa? Well, typically, it's been through the dishwasher, upside down, and there's a little bit of water that sits here in the little bit around your prongs. It's like a little well in there, yeah? And so when you go and you plop it back in place, where does that water go? A little bit of it inevitably goes down the blade, down the prongs, not the blade, down the little 5 prongs and inside the Thermomix. Okay, now why is that a problem? Because as soon as there's moisture in there, little bugs want to get inside your Thermomix and cause havoc. They want to eat out the electrics. They love that little bit of moisture in there. And then it's going to only matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb then until your Thermomix is playing up. It's giving you errors and you're going, oh, this is weird. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. That little bit of moisture is terrible. Sometimes it's as easy as getting your hand towel and wiping it across. So you've assembled your bowl, you're about to put it in, grab your hand towel, wipe it across, or a paper towel, wipe it across, put it in. Okay, sometimes it's a matter, my kids know, they unpack the dishwasher and they actually don't assemble the bowl straight away. They sit them all on the bench. So they sit, because the base isn't on, they sit on the bench on an angle like that. It kind of falls over. But even 5 minutes on the bench is long enough for that liquid to kind of evaporate off and fall off. You know, it's only the littlest bit, and it's fine after that. But same with rinsing it in the sink. You've done a pre-wash or something with your Thermomix, a pre-clean, and then you've got a sink full of water. Like if you do a pre-clean, typically you're just sloshing the water and tipping it out, right? But if you've got a sink full of bubbly, foamy water and hot water, you've been washing up dishes, maybe you hand wash, you don't have a dishwasher, same thing applies. You need to make sure those 5 prongs that communicate with the Thermomix are dry before this goes back in place. Okay, so please, please, please take the time, dry the 5 prongs before it goes back in place. Okay, I can guarantee you it will help your Thermomix last longer for you. Okay, 210 grams of plain flour. Now, when it comes to swapping for gluten-free, my recommendation is actually to pull the weight back if you can remember. I mean, you don't have to swap for gluten-free unless you have to, right? But if you have to, then this is what you do. So I'm going to pull back to about 190. I do find that when it comes to using the swap for pastry, it does tend to usually, now I've not made this recipe before. I love the Cookidoo allows me the confidence to kind of make recipes that, like I went searching this morning. We shop fortnightly and my shop is coming up on Monday. So the cupboards, excuse the dishwasher, the cupboards are actually pretty bare at the moment. I don't have any cream. I do have cream cheese. And I'm like, what can I make that I don't want to go to the shops today? I'm going on Monday. I'm not doing my shopping Friday and I'm not doing a Friday Monday shop. So I was like, what can I make? So I went searching and I love that on Cookidoo. It's got the star rating. It's over 4. It's going to work out perfectly. And I love that a lot of people have done that. I could search through and go, okay, this doesn't have cream. I can make this. And I need something gluten-free, but I know that I can pretty safely swap this in. Hopefully. We're about to find out, aren't we? So I've cut that down. The other thing with flour is it's easier to add more flour later than it is to go, oh, it's really, really crumbly. How do I fix this? And then trying to figure out, can I add some liquid? Typically not, because then it becomes too short and it just crumbles. So it's easier to add more flour later than it is to try and fix a very dry mix, yeah? 2 seconds, speed 6. Anything with pastry, you do not want to overmix. As soon as you overmix it, it goes hard. I don't know if you've ever made a shell for a dessert or something, and you go to cut it, and it's like cutting, it just falls, like it just breaks. Or you can't get the knife through it. That's from overworking. Okay? Whew, look at that color. Now, the reason it's that color, our chia seeds were black chia seeds. The original recipe says white. Chia seeds are chia seeds in my house, okay? So, is what it is. I think it's done. So it says press into the tart using your fingers. Chill for 30 minutes, and meanwhile, wash and dry the mixing bowl. So this is where, and by the way, if you look closely, you'll see that had the grey specks. Where is it? Grey specks in it. So at this point in time, you guys know, those of you who've been following along for a while, you know I don't love playing with my food with my hands. I'm just going to have a bit of an assessment of that. Does it need the extra 20 grams in there? Being that it's got chia seeds in it, I actually think it's going to thicken over time. I'm just having a look to see. I actually think I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. It could do with a little more. Torn. Okay, let's put a little more in. Let's go back. Let's put it in. Now, if you're using store-bought, there is a very good chance you won't need more. Okay, as I said, taking a little risk, trying something different. And you can go find this recipe. It's on Cookidoo. All right, let's try that extra 20 grams. Let's see what it does. I actually suspect store-bought has a lot of rice in it and a lot of arrowroot, which this does have arrowroot, but I don't think it normally has chia, which is quite absorbent. So you probably will find with your store-bought, you will want that 20 grams less. I suspect you will. Okay. Now I can hear the gluten-free, but not the gluten, the dairy-free people out there saying, can I make this dairy-free? Maybe. That's better. Okay, what I would try, this is a try, this is a Lisa has not tried, but if you are dairy-free and you want to try and make a pastry dairy-free, this one melts the butter down, which tells me it doesn't mind liquid oil, yeah, this recipe particularly. So I would be using my sunflower seed oil or my grapeseed oil to make it this, like, because if you can't do butter, that would be the alternative. Olive oil will be too overpowering in its flavor, so I wouldn't use that. But because we melt down this butter with the sugar in there, I reckon you're pretty safe to actually be able to swap it in with something like a sunflower oil. So that looks a bit better because I said press together with fingers. For me, that looks better. Okay, so now I'm going to, and I was never going to do this by hand. I don't know if this camera's will let me move. It's been playing up. It won't let me. Here we go. I've loosened it. No. I want to show you guys back here. Oh, that was a big flop down. You get to see my fermenting frock instead. Let's go for a halfway between. I know it's not the best view back here, but one day I will get a chance and look at my cameras a bit differently. Okay, so I've got 2 baking paper sheets, yeah? As I said, you guys know that I was never going to do it with my hands. Especially when you are doing that gluten-free change. Often your gluten-free doughs are significantly wetter and stickier, and I'm sorry, that's a little bit behind the Thermomix. I'll pull it out in a second, than your normal doughs with the gluten, yeah? They're always, if you think about artisan loaf, if you think about, what else have we got? Even when I've done like puff pastry, I will often do puff pastry with store-bought gluten-free flour. And even though you pull down that flour to make it not as crumbly, it still has a stickiness to it. So, yeah. Alrighty. Now, because this is going back in the fridge later, you guys see what I'm doing back here, just. It's going in the fridge once it's in the actual quiche container. I'm using a quiche container. I know that it's going to set. At the moment, it's quite soft and sticky. It is going to set. So all I'm going to do, second layer on top, trusty rolling pin, get it to the thickness I want. And I know that I use this often enough, this quiche container, like it gets used multiple times a week. I just need a little bit more space back here. I wonder if I can get you guys in front. Maybe I can. Maybe I can spin this one around. Hang on. I know what size I need to get to, is what I was going to say with that. I want to get you guys in front. All right. And we'll spin this other camera around. So let me just go through the steps first. Press into your tart tin, use your fingers. Chill in the fridge for 30 minutes, and that's going to allow your butter to set. Wash and dry the mixing bowl and preheat the oven to 150, and we're going to cook the tart shell for 15 to 18 minutes at 150 till it's golden. Remove from the oven and completely let cool, okay? And then I'm going to come back on the YouTube and do part B in a second, okay? So those of you who are not on YouTube, go over there and check that out tonight, okay? 7 o'clock, I will have that up there. So I'm just using my rolling pin to go round. And yes, this means I don't get dirty fingers. It means that if it is, like in this case, it's super sticky, it's really easy to work with. It's not causing me grief sticking to things. I'm going to chill it, or I can chill it. I'm going to try it. I'll see if I can take the baking paper off. But if the baking paper's stuck to it and it's taking too much of my mix off, it doesn't matter. I can leave it on there till I'm done in the fridge. I could even partially cook. I shouldn't need to. Once this butter resets, that will come off, I would presume, really easily. But if by some chance it didn't, when I cook it, I could cook it with the baking paper on and then take the top layer off. Okay, so I got my shell over here. Okay. So lift it. The trick is you lift the sides to drop it in so it doesn't hang out the sides and down. Okay. You can also slide it around. I just love, baking paper is just one of those things I love to use because it just means it's just so much cleaner, so much more forgiving. Okay, so now, just don't push it too hard against the sides, but push it enough that it's going into your little edges. By the way, if you want, I haven't decided how rustic I want this to be, but when it comes out of the fridge, between going, like it's going to set in the fridge, goes into the oven, you can run a knife around at the top layer, maybe I will, and actually cut off the overhanging pastry. Okay, so you certainly, it's easy enough to then to trim that back. Also, if you've got sides that are a bit thinner, you can certainly do that as well. So there you go. That is how easy it is to make gluten-free pastry. It wasn't designed to be for this tart. Okay, so give it a go. Hello, Linda. Lovely to see you on today. I'm going to be back over on YouTube later on. Well, tonight I'll be on YouTube. It's all going to be put up on YouTube. But I'm going to come back and record the rest of this recipe as the day goes on. Once this is cooked and cooled, I'll make the filling and I'll record that. I'll plug it all together. It'll be on YouTube tonight. So do check out the entirety of this recipe. And you'll also see the picture tonight of the final product. And on YouTube, you see it as the beginning and the end. Sometimes I get people saying, what does it look like? It's there. Beginning and end image is the final product. But if I can help you with your Thermomix, please let me know. If you've got friends and family who have Thermomixes, share these videos with them so that they can try these recipes and take their Thermomixing further than they currently are. You know, sometimes it's hard to know what to make next. We've got 10,000 something recipes to choose from at our fingertips. Like sometimes it's a matter of like me this morning going, what am I going to make for dessert tonight? I've got all these choices. What am I going to do? So once people spend 5 minutes watching a video on how to do it, then they can do it and they've got confidence to do it. So share these with those people that have a Thermomix on the bench, whether it's a TM31, TM5, TM6, even a thermo cooker of some other variety, that's okay. Show them that they can make these things with ease, and of course take away the tips along the way that they may not have otherwise yet got for their Thermomix. If you've got anyone around you who is considering a Thermomix, please do reach out. Please do not let them go to the Thermomix website and buy without a consultant, okay? The best way to actually get the most out of your Thermomix is to buy with a consultant. Someone who's going to answer the phone on the weekend when you're making mayonnaise and it splits, okay? So, or when you're like, hey, I need to swap this for gluten-free, how do I do that? Is it possible? That's what we're here for. But yeah, you need to buy direct through a consultant. You will find my details on my website, okay? If you're not a subscriber, jump over there. If you're already a subscriber, no need to resubscribe. I am in the process of a newsletter. It hasn't happened. I know, I'm sorry. Life's been crazy. But yes, I am hoping to get a newsletter out to you soon because there's awesome offer on from Thermomix in Australia just for another week. And I don't want anyone to miss out on that if you've been thinking about upgrading or you've been thinking about getting one for the first one on your bench. That would be exciting. So yeah, but anyway guys, have a fantastic day. Of course I'm here to help you, so please don't be a stranger. Send me a message. I love to hear, some of you guys have been sending me emails lately going, oh my goodness, this is me and I'm from here and I love this about my Thermomix and thank you for your videos and that sort of stuff. And I love to hear from you guys, okay? I do get back to replying to them eventually. Sorry if I'm not immediate on that. But yeah, have a fantastic day. Let me know if I can help you with your Thermomix. And for those of you watching on YouTube soon, I'm going to see you in the next step soon. But take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, welcome back. We're going to finish this beautiful chocolate cream cheese tart. It is out of the oven, the base. And now we're making the filling. So it is really simple. It is 150 grams of dark chocolate. So in that goes... Mine's a little over, I think it's 170 block. That'll do. Then we're going to put in 180 grams of granulated sugar, which is either a raw or a caster. I've got caster left over from an event on the weekend that I cooked stuff for. So I'm just going to use up that. Probably could have cut that down, but didn't think of it. So it is what it is. I can imagine that this serves 12. I can imagine they're going to be small slices. There's going to be 11 of us in total. I don't think we'll eat the whole lot. There'll be leftovers. Then the last thing is cream cheese. 200 grams of cream cheese, which is like 2/3, nearly 3/4 of a block. So I'm just going to cut it into hunks so that it'll fit down the sides of the blades. You don't want it sitting on top of those blades when it's trying to cook down. And the next step is a cook step. So it's going to now cook off for, just get this in, and I'll tell you how long. Not quite enough yet. Oh, that's pretty close. It's going to cook off now for, oh, and I forgot the eggs. Hang on a second. The eggs go in, 3 eggs. Now I've actually got 6 bantam eggs. They go in. This will set it. There we go. Whoopsie daisy. And then we're putting the lid on and we're going to cook it for, let's have a look, 10 minutes at 60 degrees on speed 3. So I'm going to spin that up and I will come back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to finish this off now. It is as simple as now transferring the mixture to the baked and cooled pastry shell. Okay, so we'll pour that in. And then it's asking us to let it sit on the bench for 30 minutes before putting in the fridge to set for 3 to 4 hours. And then serve chilled. How cool is that? So let's get this in now. Let me just spin you around on the bench. Let's see if we can show you. There we go. Look at this. Yum. In it goes. And that looks absolutely stunning. Look at that. And I suppose if there's any leftovers, if it happens to not fit in your shell, that's a taste test, right? But there you go. That is the chocolate and cream cheese tart, made really easy in the Thermomix. Yeah, give it a go. Tell me what you think. If you've made it before, remember, I'd love to know that you've made it, and anything you change or different that you'd make differently next time. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to give it a go and try a recipe that maybe wasn't on your radar to give a go to. But take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.